All right, so next up we have Beyonce. And speaking of, this is more outrage. I guess this is the outrage
Yeah.
stream of the
Yes.
week. But there's more outrage because Beyonce was not nominated for a single country music award
Oh,
for her Cowboy Carter
are
album.
you serious?
Yeah, man. So yeah, people are outraged. They're incensed. They demand answers because
Wow.
Beyonce was not nominated for a country music award for her Cowboy Carter album this year. So we can get this up here. So this
Mhm.
says Beyonce fans are livid after Cowboy Carter gets zero country music awards nominations. Beyonce's Cowboy Carter is one of 2024's big pop culture moments, due in part to the genre conversation that it created. Moreover, it wasn't the first time that music listeners debated over black erasure in country music and how racial bias impacts stereotypical stylistic categorization, whatever the hell that means. Um, However, it was probably the biggest discussion on this topic in a while, and it just got a whole lot spicier. Moreover, this year's Country Music Awards did not nominate the album nor its artist for a single award, despite it being one of the highest grossing country projects of the year. Not even some of the LP's biggest hits could get some love. Of course, the Beehive is absolutely outraged by this, although it's sadly not very surprising considering the contentious genre dynamics we referred to earlier. But Cowboy Carter and Beyonce definitely deserved at least something. This is all pretty ironic because while the Country Music Awards refuse to acknowledge her work, folks like Donald Trump still try to use her music for their own gain. It's a cyclical and parasitic relationship sometimes, but the Texas native is big enough to where she can sidestep a lot of these consequences. Elsewhere, another source of outrage for Beyonce fans was okay, so that's irrelevant to the conversation. So, yeah, people don't like this. So, here is a post from Neighborhood Talk on Instagram. Snubbed or nah, Beyonce receives zero Country Music Award nominations despite having one of the highest grossing country songs and albums this year. Neighbors get into this. The Beehive is ready to sting the Country Music Awards committee after Beyonce received zero nominations at this year's awards, despite having an outstanding year in the genre. Beyonce's eighth studio album, Cowboy Carter, was one of the year's biggest country albums, having spent 4 weeks on top of Billboard Top Country Albums chart. She was the first black woman to achieve this feat. Her song Texas Hold'em reached number one on the Hot 100 chart, making it one of her highest selling singles to date. The song topped the country charts for 10 weeks straight. Despite these achievements, the CMA has decided not to nominate Beyonce for any category, even though she qualified for categories like Single of the Year, Song of the Year, Album of the Year, Female Vocalist of the Year, Music Event of the Year, and Entertainment of the Year. Two of Beyonce's Cowboy Carter collaborators did score nominations, though. Post Malone and Shabuzi. Malone, who just recently dabbled, I think they mean dabbled, who recently dabbled into country music, received four nominations, while Shabuzi, who had a breakout year after being featured on two songs on Cowboy Carter, received two nominations. What do y'all think of Beyonce? Do y'all think Beyonce was snubbed? So I, of course, open that up to the conscious approach floor. Do you think that Beyonce was snubbed here?
Boy, that's a tough one. No, I don't think she was snubbed here. I just think that they didn't know. I guess that's what the article was trying to mention with that word, but I don't really know. I mean, it's classified as a country, album. I just Google searched, top albums of this year, country albums, and her name's in there, so it's considered country. But I just think it's one of those things where, I think she's just gonna have to put in some work. Not just come over and just like a sprinter just hopping into the hurdles and yeah, you fast, but this is a whole different type of thing. And I think what they were like was like, look, yeah, you can come over here to the hurdles and run and compete and beat other people, but you're making a spectacle out of the hurdles. And we have to see if you're really like about this life type of thing. And I think for her, um, yeah, I think she's just gonna have to make more country music and double down on this. So the Academy or whatever these people are could consider her serious about this and not some grifter coming over here to just snatch up awards over here too. So I think that's kind of how they're looking at this, and they're looking at her as a grifter, not really about that country life. Um, and I agree. We had the topic. We covered the topic about her, getting in the country and black people in country, and how black countries originally started by black people. So how can you appropriate something you created and all this other stuff? And it's like, okay, yeah, we get all of that. Okay, but at the same time, okay, this academy or whoever is giving out these awards, okay, that wasn't created. That wasn't created by us. That was created by a group of people who have their own criteria for country. And I don't think she fit within the parameters. Now they could say the Shabuzi guy who featured on Beyonce, well, how he getting? Because that's what that guy does. He's country, so he's gonna get it. Okay, well, what about Post Malone? I think Post Malone has made this shift. I don't think this was his first year making this shift. I think he's been doing this for like a couple years now. So you just got to put in work to show that you're really over here doing country, and then you're gonna get acknowledged. So she does another country album, this time around or whatever. And then the next time around when she does a country album and it charts and do all the stuff that it did now, and then she wins an award, it wouldn't be because people were complaining now. I really think that they're waiting to see if she's actually going to be doing this for real. And I think that's it. So people could say that she got snubbed. I don't think it is. That's like somebody coming over from another genre into hip hop, and that's like, yeah, Katy Perry. Not that Katy Perry. What's the girl name? Taylor Swift or Katy Perry. And they came over and they made an R&B album. You know what I'm saying? It had all these rappers featured on it and all this other stuff, and people will be hollering all kinds of rigmaroles like, oh, this don't fit. This don't. Y'all gonna get Taylor Swift an award? Oh, she just and it's just not a good look. But if Taylor Swift was actually showing that, nah, man, she's making nothing but R&B now. Actually, neo soul, and so she really about this life now. So start giving her awards because she's showing and improving. So I just think I think Beyonce just needs to show and prove. She needs to to double down on this and say that, hey, this wasn't just some publicity stunt, guys. I'm really country like that, and just keep it that way. And it can be her own brand of country. Just keep doing country, and it's going to get acknowledged, I believe. But what are your thoughts, man, on Miss Beyonce not getting one? Even with this nomination, she's not even getting nominated. So, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I largely hear all of that. When this thing became known that this is something that Beyonce was working on, they asked her about this, and her words exactly were, "quote This ain't a country album. This is a Beyonce album." So, by her own admission, it's not a country album. It's a Beyonce album. And I would imagine most of the people who are not happy about this aren't country music fans. They're Beyonce fans.
Correct.
I don't think country music fans are complaining about this. I think it's Beyonce fans who are complaining about this. And to the Beyonce fans who are complaining about this, I would ask them, did you listen to any other country music before Beyonce started making country music? Or did you just hop on over there because Beyonce made this thing, whatever it is, because by her own admission, it's not even a country album. So how long have you been following along with paying attention to country music prior to this? Because in my opinion, if you have not, you do not have a leg to stand on. You do not have a place in this conversation. I think a lot of y'all need to shut the hell up and keep it moving. Okay. And here's the good thing that can come from this. Okay. Because yeah, when we talked about this, we touched on Beyonce, doing her country, because I think there was a radio station who
Yeah.
somebody called in to request the Cowboy Carter song, and the radio station said no,
Hmm.
because they thought that the person was calling in to request Beyonce music, not
Hmm.
realizing that it was in a roundabout way her country song. And then once they realized it, they were like, okay, my bad, we messed up. And then they, played the song. So nobody knew what was going on with this thing. And, my thing is, a lot of these people who are up in arms ain't been paying attention to country music. And to be more specific, a lot of these people who are up in arms have not been paying attention to black country music artists, because these are Beyonce fans, and Beyonce fans are hip hop and R&B people who are indoctrinated in urban and hip hop culture and feel as though country is an other form of content. It's an other form of entertainment. It is not something that black people do. So here's my advice to a lot of y'all who are so aggrieved because Beyonce didn't get the recognition that you think that she deserves. I would advise you to start paying attention to some of these black country music artists. Because if some of these black country music artists get the play and the respect that they deserve from the various members of their own community when it comes to the art that they create, perhaps these types of omissions will cease to take place. So a lot of y'all running around out there upset because Beyonce didn't get her shine for this amalgamation album that is masquerading as country conveniently, because a lot of y'all want to call it country now that she's been snubbed, even though by her own admission it's a Beyonce album and not a country album. I would advise you to listen to Tanner Adele, black country music artist. Listen to Kane Brown, black country music artist. Start streaming Shabuzi more, black country music artist. We just mentioned him. Brittany Spencer. Y'all got Spotify, y'all got Apple Music. Start streaming her music. And I'm not talking to country music fans. I'm talking to y'all Beyonce fans. Start streaming Willie Jones, black country music artist. Mickey Guyton, black country music artist. I've mentioned Darius Rucker before. He goes without saying. Blanco Brown, Danita, Breland, Raina Roberts. Another one is Jimmy Allen. These are all black country music artists who've been doing country music for years and years. Do y'all know about them? Probably not, because y'all been listening to rap and hip hop your whole life. So you probably ain't been listening to these people because you don't really listen to country. You don't really listen to country. You just like Beyonce. So part of the ecosystem that surrounds omissions like this taking place is the perception that Beyonce is fly by night. And they can hang their hat on their perception that this is fly by night because her fans don't even listen to country music. They just listen to her. So if you want these types of omissions to stop taking place, how about you do yourselves and your community a favor and start paying a little more attention to some of the people who look like you, who actually make the music within the genre and have been doing it for years. Then maybe Beyonce, who comes in every now and again to dip her toe in the sand, will get a little more credit, or at least the amount of credit that you think she should get.
Yeah, man. Agreed. And my look again, I don't know what her like. I don't know. Well, I think I know what her angle was. It was just to bring, Beyonce to country and bring her badness and what's the other word, her flamboyancy and all of that stuff that comes with the glam of Beyonce over the country. Because in the picture over there by you, that's a Versace hat. That's a Versace cowboy hat. Now, I don't know what country, um you know like how they do things, but to me it's more blues. So it's more of a humble type of thing. Now they got flexing and stuff. They flex in country music, but it's not designer flex. You know, they're flexing about the F-150. So she's gonna come in here with her Gucci Prada Lamborghini flow, bringing that to country. And I don't know how humble that is, and I don't know what she's doing here. To me, it's just, even if we want to take this back to, hey, this black people stuff, and it's like, okay, well, that's not what the forefathers of country intended. It was a form of blues, and you're in here making it pop. So, she really needs to pour from the heart with her music. Lemonade-esque with her blues. Maybe people would have be listening to it. Maybe people will be like, hey man, she really dug down deep. Because I've heard country songs. I'm not gonna listen to that music. I'm not a fan of the waves. I got programmed a different way. So whenever I try to listen to country, I can appreciate it, but I'm not gonna sit here and have it on repeat. But the songs that I do hear that are good, in my opinion, they are touching chords of emotion and things of that nature. And it's not, Texas Hold'em square dance and stuff. So to me, at least the stuff that I heard from this cowboy trash was it was commercialized country, and it sounded like she was trying to make hits. And to me, that wasn't upholding the honor of what our forefathers did when we created the art craft. If people want to sit here and go, well, we did it, we black, so why can't she? Well, she's doing it different. So that's like literally like a blues singer, you know what I'm saying, getting up there and saying that, I got riches, I got more than you, and flexing and throwing money in the crowd. Like, what kind of blues artist is this? What kind of blues guy is this? Hey man, you're supposed to be talking about, internal strifes and pain, but you're around here flexing and dunking on me like this is a rap song. So no, I can't get what anything she's doing about this. To me, it's all hella tacky. I was making fun of it from the jump. So for me, I'm getting a victory lap of laughs for her not getting nominated here. People can holler racism or any type of else ism in between. To me, this was just a big swing and a miss. And of course she charted. She's got so many millions of fans. Of course they were going to listen and give it spins. All right. But it didn't stay long. And so so y'all can throw that, oh, she charted. Of course. And so to fit with my my Katy Perry analogy or whatever, if she came over and did R&B stuff, she's going to bring her fans with her. So she's going to top charts of R&B every week. That has no bearing on what the community feels about her music. So the same thing goes with this Beyonce stuff. To me, it was all commercialized, hogwash garbage. Now, is country commercial? Yeah, it is. But this was a different brand of commercial. And I didn't care for it myself. So, yeah, man, I'm getting a good chuckle out of this. Sorry, Beehive. I don't mean to upset you guys. But, I believe there's reasonable ones out there that can just see that, this wasn't her best work. And yeah, I agree with you. And for that, I don't think she deserves an award. So.
Yeah, there's some of the most annoying people in the world.
Where you going?
Beyonce fans. They're just loud and annoying and irritating. They're like an ant that you can't kill. Listen, you guys need to start giving country music and black country music artists the credence that you've never given them, because you will therefore create a more widespread platform to allow for individuals like Beyonce to be impossible to be omitted from some of these awards institutions. But you guys are no better than her. You're fly by night just like she is. And like you said, let's say the next 2 or 3 projects, or maybe for the rest of her career musically, she's touched in such a way that she decides to do it differently and she wants to become more of a centralized country music artist, then that's all well and good. But as it stands right now, she was bringing, Lemonade and I Am Sasha Fierce
Yes,
into
Fierce.
she was bringing Lemonade and I Am Sasha Fierce into country music. And of
Yeah,
course, people are going to buy it because she has her legions of zombie fans. But I think it did a disservice, and maybe that's a strong word, but I think it did a bit of a disservice to the many country music artists, black in particular, who've been doing this and they don't get paid attention to by some of the same people who are hollering foul because Beyonce didn't get her credit. So I think y'all should just do a better job of paying attention to a lot of the black country music artists who have been in the genre for decades, years and years, making music. Pay attention to them as well as Beyonce because they deserve it as well. And I think it's an even bigger crime when those people get snubbed as opposed to Beyonce, who's already
correct.
got more Grammys in the history of the Grammys than any other artist, and she gonna be good.
Exactly.
She gonna be good. You think I don't know if she cares or not that she got snubbed, but I would imagine she don't really. It's just a lot of y'all crybaby fans who care more than she even cares. So y'all need to get over it. Get on your Spotify, get on wherever you listen to your music. You pay for YouTube Premium or whatever you listen to, and start streaming a lot of these other black country music artists' music because they deserve that, in my opinion, more than Beyonce does.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's what she did. She brought Sasha Fierce to the hoedown, and you can't do that, man. It's clashing. It's cultural clash. You know, and again, not cultural because white black. It's cultural because of what country's supposed to stand for, a form of blues, and blues and fierceness. They don't really mesh well. So
Right.
I just think she just needs to humble herself with this. I think she came in a little too full of herself and thought she was going to flip the world upside down with this. But in actuality, I think she stumbled a bit for the first time in her career, honestly. Because yeah, she's had an album out, but I'm not hearing it anywhere. So, and this is a first for her, I would say. So she needs to humble herself, and if she wants to do this, then keep going, but make real music, and and stop making this grifty pandering stuff. So, yeah, I could go on
Well,
about
that's what. Well, people think that there's nothing wrong with that. They want a gender bend. Well, gender bend. That was a slip. They want a genre bend, and all of that. They don't really see. That's a good thing for music is people like Beyonce coming in and adding their own little spin to it. But I just think the community has spoken. It is what it is, man.
Sorry.
My attention goes to the many other country music artists who are not paid attention to by, I would say, the majority of black music listeners, because the majority of black music listeners are listening to garbage rap and hip hop. And I think they should get the attention of your ear or your sub or your stream. And that's my biggest takeaway from this whole thing.
Yep. Agree.